We are live. Good morning, everyone. I feel like I was just here. And I kind of was. I was here last night, but hope you all are doing well. For those of you who may not know me, my name is Jake. I'm a hypnotherapist and quantum guide, and I'm joined today by the one and only ephphathaoracle, my lovely friend Beth, who is going to be bringing us through a really fun house energy demo today, keeping it simple, keeping it straightforward. But after our show a while ago, which if you haven't seen that yet, go and watch that, we wanted to give you guys a practical example of like how this works and how to do this yourself, because both of us are really about empowering you and helping you to understand that you've got that power. You have the abilities to do a lot yourself. And of course, we need support once in a while, but this is about empowering you guys. So Beth, you want to introduce yourself or share anything you'd like with the audience before we dive in?
Sure. Good morning, everyone, wherever you are in the world. It might not be morning for you, it's morning for me. Welcome to the show. And I'm hoping that something that we deliver today can be useful to you right now in the moment, because this is a very busy time of year. We're all going in multiple directions. Just like Jake said, he was on last night. He's been on multiple shows and he's doing multiple things. And we were just talking about that a little bit before the show went live. And I know in my world, there's a lot going on. I have a lot going on in my family. There's a lot going on everywhere. And one of the things that I'm hearing from so many people right now, just to kind of lay the foundation for some of what Jake and I were thinking about for today, something very practical and very doable that you can do in your own space. Because right now, with the holidays, there's a lot of energy coming and going. You have people
Mhm.
coming and going out of your home, or even if you don't invite people over, or you don't have, maybe you don't have the space for that, or you don't have the interest even to be the host. Some people are not host, they're not into that. They would rather show up and participate. So regardless of whatever avenue you're coming from, when you go out, if you're not the host, you're still interacting and you're bringing things back, whether it's impressions and a lot of things that we're not even aware of. And especially if you're empathic, which I'm sure a lot of you that are watching are, or have that tendency, or just energy sensitive, you've probably experienced in the past when you kind of feel off and you can't explain, like, why do I feel off? Like, I don't intellectually, and I'm kind of checking my gut, and I don't really feel like I have any reason to be off. Consider that maybe there's an energy around you that you've picked up on. And this can be in a home, energies can linger for a very long time if they're not addressed. And so, yeah, there's a lot there, and it just amps up during the holiday time. So, I will just share a small piece of this. If you have family and, holidays amp up things, they bring up past, there's a lot of emotion surrounded by the holiday time, and a lot of expectations that we have been socialized to believe over many years. So people come to a holiday time very loaded. They're loaded already with what they want to get out of the holiday, and they may not even be consciously aware of that. And they may show up with things that they want to see happen, and things don't happen. And then there's disappointment, or the opposite can be true. They don't expect anything and they have a great experience. That also can be true. And so, for us today, and I know I've said a lot of words, and Jake, I'm thinking of your show last night where people are saying extra words with Gemini and Sag. Um, but I do feel it's important to kind of lay a foundation about why we chose to do this, where we're coming from. Not that I expect your holidays to be awful, or, all these energies, but sometimes you just need a calming effect, or a clearing effect, or something that you can do practically to set yourself up for the best possible holiday experience.
Yeah, so well said, so well said. And I really think it is about remembering the things that you can control and the impact that you can have. And Lauren and I were talking about this just a couple nights ago when we had our show on the Christ Light, and we were talking about how you know uh, we don't always have like control over everything in our sphere. But what we do have control of is our perspective, is our mindset, is um, like the energetics and the energetic work. And especially like this is not something that you have to like have some special gift to do. You are an energetic being. You are connected to source light and to this energy intuitively and naturally. And so it's about remembering that. But Lauren and I were talking about like visualizing your holiday interaction, visualizing that visit, or Christmas morning or dinner or whatever it might be, and seeing yourself having that wonderful time that you want to have, seeing the laughter, and just really visualizing and imagining, using your imagination to build that image up, to tap into the different sensations that you might experience, maybe a full belly, maybe laughter cheeks where your cheeks are hurting a little bit, or whatever it might be. And the more you can visualize that, build that up, that sets the stage for that to come into reality. And it's not that that's like a fail safe, that you're automatically going to have a smooth journey, because you're working with a bunch of other people with free will as well. And so it might be for your best and highest good to have a little conflict. Corbin and I were talking about this just last night. Sometimes that friction can be a catalyst, or can help you help push you somewhere that you need to go. But it definitely is something where, understanding the power that you do have in setting your intentions, in being mindful about how you're moving into these situations and not leaving it up to chance, I think really is the wisest thing to do. And it doesn't need to be a huge, complicated ritual. You don't need to spend hours doing anything. I mean, we're going to be here for a handful of minutes, and we're going to show you how simple it is and how easy it is to do this for yourself. Because I agree. I think doing what you can and remembering your power is important.
Yeah, very much so. Everything that we do, or that I try to do in this type of work, begins with an intention. And so when we prepared the concept of doing a short, focused, I want to say, demonstration of how easy this can be, I asked Jake to set an intention. What is it that you want to work on, and what location? Because what we're attempting to do today is we want to set an energetic container, if you will, for the space that Jake has focused on. And we want to create exactly what he said. We want to see ourselves having what we want fulfilled in that container. Um, I want to use an example too. Focus on the result. You're going to do the process, but focus on the result. And I'm going to use the example of Pam Gregory. I love watching her, and she
Hmm.
talked about that time way back in her, I think she was in her 20s, when she was learning martial arts, and she was cutting the boards with her hand. And Pam Gregory seems like a very tiny woman. So I was very impressed and paid attention when she said that her instructor told her to focus below the boards, focus beyond the issue, focus beyond the problem. Because sometimes we get caught up in the issue and we can't see the other side of it because there's so much going on. So I'm going to encourage all of you that if you choose to participate with Jake and I in this, focus on the result.
So well said. Yeah. And that's really how like manifestation works too, right? That's how when I'm helping people future vision, right? When we're using hypnosis in this way too, it's about envisioning and picturing that result. You're not necessarily focused right away on, okay, how does it happen? It's about, okay, what does that look like, and what does that future look like, and that positive outcome that you're looking for. I love that so much.
Yeah.
And I love what Corbin's saying here about these conversations helping to keep that higher perspective. And I think that that's where community is important. And the more that we can share these tips and tricks with each other, or even if it's something that you already know or something that you're already aware of, it's just helpful to have other people mirroring that back, echoing that back to you. And the more that we do band together, we can support each other in what can be some emotionally charged times. And I saw you mentioning too, Corbin, about some family members, already giving up on the season. And I feel like that it's there's definitely a good chunk of people out there who are very much in the dumps and have already decided how things are going to go. And you don't have to be one of those people. You can understand the powers that you have, um and the powers you don't. And then in those moments when you maybe do have some emotions coming at you, or some people you know living out whatever lessons they need to experience, like, you don't need to participate. um and staying strong in your own energy, I think, is really important.
Yeah, it is. And you have to know your own limitations. You have to know what is good for you in any situation and whether
Hmm.
or not you should participate in certain things. So there's that too, the healthy boundaries, the self-love. And if you can't avoid a difficult situation, what can you do to nurture yourself? What can you do to prepare your energy and yourself emotionally prior to maybe going to a family dinner or a work situation party thing, that so many people are involved in. You don't want to not show up, but you don't really want to go. And it's a whole thing. What
Hmm.
how do you balance your professional life with your personal desires? So there's all of that as well. So this can help all of those types of things, because you can focus on any situation or event that you want. It can be in your home. You could also focus, like in a work situation, you could send loving energy and do a space clearing for the room that you're going to have your work Christmas party in. I've done that. I had a workspace that I cleared the entire office space one day on a Saturday when no one was there. I went in and I set my intentions and, you know, set the intention not to encroach on anybody else's personal energy, but just to offer energy to anyone and people that come and go in there that, their higher self was willing to receive it. And I proceeded with clearing my own office and then, just offering the work. So, yes,
Hmm.
can definitely transform your experience in sometimes shocking ways that you don't expect. But nonetheless, we trust that it's all in the best and highest good.
Yeah. And I love Lynn's recommendation of dropping some crystals in the corner of the room too. Definitely doesn't hurt, I don't think. And that's the thing, is you can use tools, you can use
Yes.
uh, support in whatever way that looks for you. I've definitely got some crystals with me today. Got a couple of Christmassy themed crystals, which I have my little moss agate Christmas tree and this little plume agate snowflake, which, thank you, Lynn, for gifting this to us. This is a gift from Lynn. We love
that,
you, Lynn.
that is gorgeous.
Um, and I also saw her asking about my duck, and yes, I do have my crystal duck here with me.
I love
He's just, I have been carting him around the house with me. He, like, comes into the room when I sleep. He comes into the living room with me when I'm hanging out there. And I can't get enough of his energy. It's really fun. So yeah, crystals, great idea. I was going to ask you though, Beth, do you feel like, do people need to be, like, in the room that they're working on, or can this be something that they do, like, from another room? Does the room need to be empty? I was just thinking, I was like, I'm pretty sure Corbin's watching the show from the living room, and I was thinking of working on the living room. Is that going to be a problem?
So that's a great question. And generally when I'm doing, I'll just share what I generally do and have experienced. When I do remote work, um, that someone has requested me to do, I do recommend getting pets and people out of the space if at all possible. Like I shared with going to my office space on a Saturday when I knew no one would be there. The energy, when you move the energy, especially sensitive beings like pets, can absolutely be affected.
Hmm.
Absolutely. Is it impossible? No. And of course, it's your intention too. If what you absolutely have to do is do the work and you can't avoid someone being in the space, then my advice to that is to be incredibly intentional that you surround them in light and you set the intention that nothing you do affects them personally. Um, And that's the best you're going to do in that situation. The other option is, like, Corbin is aware that we're doing this. And if he chooses to stay in that space, it's hard to say what he might experience. Maybe he could set the intention that he adds his energy to the work. So that's
Mm,
another way that you could go about it. Is it an all or nothing? No. But when, especially with pets or like small children or something like that, where they can't speak for themselves or do anything about it, or if they're there and they can't uh, move away or something like that, then it's hard to say, because you don't know what could exist in that space. You don't know what energies are there. And that's not, I'm not trying to be fear based in any way. I just feel like we have to respect the sovereignty of any other being. The other thing you can do if you have people that you can't move out is you could speak to them. Your pets, you could speak to their higher selves and say, can you show me some sign whether it's okay or not? Other people, certainly, if this were a different scenario, Jake, you could approach Corbin and say, I know you're going to have to be in the living room. Are you okay with it? That sort of thing.
yeah.
Always respecting the sovereignty of the other being. So I hope that answered the question.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So I think for our work today, it's probably okay. Because Corbin is, I think, participating energetically in this, and he's also watching. So if he wants to move to a different room, he can certainly do that too. But
Of course. Okay, well, let's start with, if you're ready, Jake,
I'm
let's
ready.
with um if I were working with Jake, well, if I were doing the energy clearing, I'll share one of the ways that I set things up. And it will depend sometimes on the situation, what I'm working on. Is it land? Is it a home? Is it an object? Is it a pet? Like, depending on what I'm working on, it might be a slightly different process, but in general, the very first thing I do is clear myself, which I already did. I did some Reiki on myself this morning. I meditated. I prepared myself to try to be as clear and clean as I possibly can. And I always ask, my own energy to step aside and allow the divine to come through and let me be a vehicle for that, and not my energy get involved. And I
Hmm.
good for my sovereignty, but it's also good for whoever I'm working on, because then my own stuff doesn't get mixed up in that. So that's the first thing I do. And that can be as simple as setting an intention if you don't have a lot of time and you want to do something to shift energy. Certainly, it doesn't have to be a lengthy process. That's just my personal process to be very energetically sovereign. So clear yourself. And as I shared with Jake earlier, I asked him to bring a candle and bring his pendulum. These aren't the only tools that you can use, but these are the ones we're going to use today because it's pretty simple and straightforward. And if you don't have a pendulum, if you have a sewing needle or an object that you can hang on a string, you can make your own. And you just hold it in your hands, set the intention that this is an object that's going to work with your best and highest good when you're doing this work, and you can create your own pendulum. So don't feel like you have to go out and spend a lot of money and buy a fancy crystal pendulum. You don't have to do that. You can use what you have. I'm definitely a big proponent of use what you
Yeah.
have. Because when you want to do the work and you want to do it now, you don't want to wait to go make a trip to the crystal shop. So
Well, and I think remembering that the magic is in you, like you are the one that has the magic. It is not necessarily this object, and not that there isn't magic within objects as well, but you're using this tool to direct your own life force, your own energy, and so it's about what's inside you, not what fancy tool you have.
absolutely. I love that you added that. That's perfect.
Mhm.
So I just brought this beautiful crystal Merkaba
Beautiful.
pendulum, and it's actually shaking and shivering, which tells me the energy's starting to come through, which is great. Oh, Jake, that's beautiful. Is that tiger's eye?
Tiger's eye. Yep.
Gorgeous. And you can, if you do purchase a crystal, you can use it specifically for this purpose. You can designate that crystal to be your energy space clearing crystal if you choose to. I have one particular one that I use quite a bit for this purpose. So we have crystal. I have a candle lit. I know you can't see that. I've smudged the space already for my own purposes. And I recommend that you do some type of space clearing. And obviously, if you can't do that, you can't smudge or something like that, you can spray or just use essential oils, or you can just set an intention, or absolutely a
Or
tune.
sound.
Yes, sound is an awesome way. I do have my singing bowl here.
Perfect.
I have a shaker I like to use, like a rattle. So yeah, I have many tools, and it depends. Once I go into the work, I just allow source spirit to tell me, okay, you need to rattle, you need to use a feather, you need to whatever. I mean, there are many tools. So just trust yourself. That's the most
Hmm.
thing. And like Jake said earlier, we are here to empower you. You absolutely can do this. And if you need some guidance or you want some support in getting started, or you don't feel like you want to do it, reach out. I'll be
Hmm.
happy to help you or talk you through it, or whatever you need.
Yeah, and
So
I have Beth's email down in the description box, so you can reach out to Beth with the email there.
yeah, please reach out through email. As of right now, there's not an official website type thing for me. I've always worked very like interpersonally, one on one, but eventually I will have something a little more official, if you want to call it that. But I don't bite, so feel free to reach out. And we can set up a Zoom or something to talk to each other if you'd like to do that. Okay, so we have our implements. We have the candle, we have the pendulum. So now I'm going to invite Jake to share with me what is his intention today. What are we working on?
Yeah, my intention was really around setting our living room. So living room is where we spend a majority of our time, right? And so I really wanted to set the intention with that space of being restorative, of being calming, of being soothing. We aren't necessarily having a bunch of people over, and so it's really about how can we set the space up for Corbin and I to have a restorative home base, when we go out to the Christmas stuff and come back, having a space that can wash that stuff away, help us to feel grounded and calm and rejuvenated and refreshed and all of that. So that's kind of the intention that I have.
That's a beautiful intention, and it's perfect for exactly what we're dealing with right now.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, okay. So you've stated your intention, and your candle lit?
It is, yes.
Okay. So let's just start. Like, you've already got your hand on your heart. Let's just start with taking a deep breath in. And those of you that are watching, you may choose to lend your energy to this intention for Jake's sake, which would be beautiful if you choose to do that for his best and highest good and that of Corbin's and their beautiful fur babies. So let's just all take a deep breath in, and let's hold it for a few seconds, and then let's release. And let's just repeat that 2 more times. So let's take a deep breath in, hold it for a few seconds. And when we do that, we're breathing in Jake's intention to create that restorative, calming space in their living room and support their. One more deep breath. Let's just call in our helpers and guides to support this intention. Because we are moving into this Aquarian age, and we're moving into a more community based situation where we're supporting each other's intentions, sending love, maybe even being the family that some of us don't have during this time or at all. And so this community support is vital, and I've seen that reflected in the chat.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. So, Jake, when you're ready,
Mhm.
first thing we're going to do is you can just use your candle for this. I want you to clear your pendulum in the light of the candle. Just put the pendulum over the candle and set the intention that the light of the candle is clearing your pendulum. It's a very simple way to do this, especially if you don't have sage or that's not something you do, or maybe you can't have that kind of smoke in your environment. And you can let me know my pendulum's still swinging. It's still moving the energy. Let me know when yours is done.
I just keep getting this visual of like white light, like stripping the flesh off of like a skeleton, like a cartoon, like, you know, the light is just so bright and strong and powerful. It just, like, you know, melts the cartoon character's, you know, skin off, and you're just left with the skeleton. Makes me laugh. All right, I'm still.
You're still okay. Me
Mhm.
too. Yeah, that's a good point to make too, is that, when you set an energetic container like this, you will get probably downloads. If you don't, that's okay. That doesn't mean that you're doing it wrong or you didn't, do enough or anything like that. But don't be surprised if information comes through, and it's really good to write that down, because it may not make sense right now, but it may make sense in the future, or at some point you may pull up that information later and say, "Oh my goodness, I totally forgot about this, but it totally makes sense now." So do pay attention to what you get. When I do the work, I have a notepad and I write things as they come. Okay,
Mhm.
so we cleared our pendulum. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put our hand on our heart, and with our other hand that's holding our pendulum. And I'm going to invite everybody in the chat and everybody that's watching this on replay to visualize and bring those words. And Jake, you could say it out loud again, your intention. And we're going to send that energy for your intention.
Making the space a restorative and relaxing and calming space. Creating a container of rejuvenation and soothing energy, helping us to reset and recharge and mhm, restoration, rejuvenation, calm.
I'm feeling an intense rush of energy, very, very lightheaded, almost to the point of dizzy. It's amazing.
I can feel that feeling like in my chest.
Yep. Yeah. Wow. How beautiful, the whole community coming together to support this.
Oh yeah. And I can feel the angelic's presence as well. We definitely have angel support here too, which makes total sense. I mean, I've really been feeling the guardian angel energy. I don't know about you guys.
Yes, I have been really feeling that we are protected right now.
Mhm.
During this process, sometimes you'll notice the pendulum starts swinging in one direction and then it will slow down and then it will reverse. There's no one right way, but you can note what it does because that might be significant for you personally.
Mhm.
And I noticed Jake's breathing, and that's not uncommon that when you do this work, move the energy, your breath will move with it. And as you do those deep breaths that just seem to come automatically, you're moving the energy. And at this point, it might be helpful especially if you feel like you're clearing out something that you no longer want there. And again, we don't want to focus on what we don't want. We want to focus on what we do want. But as things are leaving, it's also helpful to direct the energy where to go. Like you may say, the next time I open my front door, I release this energy. Or the next time I run the water down the sink drain, I release this energy. Give it a command, tell it where to go, and give it an escape route. You know, we're in the kind of the start of the winter here, so it can be very, very cold. So you don't want to open windows. If it's in the summer, I would recommend just open your windows and give it room to go. But it's not always practical in the winter. So direct it. You're
Mhm.
powerful. Direct it. Where do you want it to go? I use the drain a lot.
It's just, it's funny you said that because about 20 seconds ago, the doorbell rang, and I'm sure Corbin went to go open the front door. So that energy wanted to leave right away.
Yes. Yeah. And you know, there's the serendipity.
Hmm.
Sometimes when I do work in the morning, I set the intent that the next time I take my dogs out, that it goes.
Hmm.
I know they're clear it, and your kitties probably are also.
Hmm.
So my pendulum's still going, Jake. How are you doing?
Yeah, we had slowed and we switched, and then we slowed and we switched back, and so it's almost like an elliptical orbit right now.
Mhm. Yep. And it can take a while. And my advice is be patient and maybe get a pillow for your arm because you might be surprised at how long it takes sometimes. But just trust. I know I felt a shift.
Hmm. I'm feeling a little bit of a slowdown now.
Same here.
All right. I've slowed.
Yeah, mine has stopped.
Hmm.
Okay. We'll just take a second, couple deep breaths. And then what we're going to do next is we're going to put the pendulum over the flame of the candle again, and we're going to clear it. And as we clear it, we're going to ask to close, protect, and ground the energy because we've stirred up a ton. Okay. So
Hmm.
we want to close, we want to protect, and we want to ground the energy. So when you're ready, go ahead and let your pendulum go over the light of the candle. And just imagine the divine white light is cleansing your tool that you used. And if you chose to use a different tool, like a tuning fork or whatever, you could do the same process. You could hold the tuning fork over the light and set the intention. I like the pendulum because it'll stop swinging when it's done clearing. And that really helps me, especially if I'm working on someone's space. I get a lot of information from the pendulum because it tells me when the energy is sending and when it's complete and what it needs and if it needs more time. And so that's helpful.
Hmm.
Okay. So you let me know when your pendulum stops. I expect it'll take longer than mine because you're in the space.
Mhm. Oh, I could feel Esmeralda there, and she was helping to ground the energy down.
Some more energy wanted to come through. I wasn't expecting that. If you heard mumbling, sorry everyone. That was a little light language, and I don't have a great microphone right now, so I just trust that what came is what needed.
Yeah.
I think that was some of Esmeralda also.
Mhm. Well, and
She's
you definitely have a connection with her, obviously,
uh,
with the
she
work that you've done.
I'm absolutely tingling all over. She
Oh,
is
yeah, me
a
too.
wild character. She is fun and flamboyant, and like right now I'm seeing like she's in a Mexican getup with the bright colors, and she's like got the sombrero on, and she's like, "Woo, life's good," like that kind of. Oh, that's so great.
I love that. I love that image.
Thank, thank you, Esmeralda, because I needed that blast of fiesta kind of energy. Wow.
Yeah. And I love that you guys were able to feel that as well. And thank you for sending love and calm. I really do appreciate you guys supporting and helping that. And yep, Corbin saying, "Yep, out the door." So he felt and saw and experienced that. So that was great.
That's awesome. So he was meant to be in the living room. See it all,
Mhm.
yeah, really, really great. So before I have you, well, no, you go ahead and debrief, and then uh, I want to talk about the four pillars of the intention setting as
Mm.
forward, just as a review, like a quick way to remember. But go ahead and debrief, Jake. Um, what did you feel and sense? And maybe Corbin can put in the chat also what he experienced. And we know that this will unfold as time moves forward. And I don't know if Corbin wants to share in the chat about his chair. We set an intention and we worked on Corbin's chair um, in the last show, and we were going to swing back and revisit that. So if you guys want to share.
Yeah, yeah, I'll start out and Corbin, if you do wanna pop in the chat, feel free. The I could definitely feel the energy moving through, and like I said, I mean the angelic presence, um, and then Gaia's presence as well, especially as we were grounding things down. I was getting this visual of her kind of um, like pulling and like anchoring, pulling and like anchoring. It's like she was like pitching a tent almost, that like pulling the cord taut and like securing it in and just making sure that things are like nice and tidy and neat so that the wind doesn't blow things away. Um and so that was the image. And then I had Esmeralda come in, and yeah, uh I keep feeling her, and I was feeling the angelics as well, like in my knees, kind of like half of my thighs and like down into my knees. And so that was an interesting place to feel it. Which I always think about the knees um, with flexibility and then also with forward movement. And so it felt almost like um, uh, a reassurance of like um, this will help to be flexible as the energies are dynamic and do ebb and flow, and it'll help us to move into the holiday season in a positive and supported way. And I could feel the calm as well. Like Jody said, I could feel it in my heart, um, and feeling the support from the community as well. Those here live and also those on replay too, can feel you guys too. Um, I really do appreciate it. Hello, Lisa. Good to see you. Thanks for popping in and sending you love. And have a wonderful day. Thanks for popping in. And yeah, love to everyone else in the chat too. I mean, Lynn and Corbin and Kyla, and appreciate you all coming and joining us for this morning show. So yeah, that was a little bit of my experience with that. Um, and and yeah, I definitely would be curious to know what Corbin felt. Um, Oh, great. He said similar to the house clearing last time. And for those who don't know, Beth and Corbin and I worked together on Esmeralda, who is our house, and we worked on um, cleansing and clearing and kind of resetting her energy and working on the property. And that's part of why Beth is here, sharing her knowledge in this space as well. But Corbin saying similar to the house clearing last time, there's a brightness to the space now. The sun is shining in more, is shining more inside. I love that. I
That's
love
beautiful.
that.
That's beautiful. I love it. I'm
Mhm.
feeling, tell us in the chat if anybody would be interested. And Jake, I know we didn't talk about this, but this is what just came through for me is, you had the thing at Thanksgiving where we all got together. If anybody would be interested, I could do it on my channel, or we could both, like, I haven't put anything on my channel. Um, there's some old readings and animal support stuff on there right now, on YouTube. But if anyone would be interested, Jake, maybe we could host a space clearing gathering where
Ooh,
we all do it together, pick a space that we want to work on, and actually do it as a community to support each other. Because that felt, just this small little group doing this together, the few of us that are here, felt really, really powerful. So I'm just going to offer that if anybody would like to get together. And Jake, if that doesn't resonate with you on your channel, maybe I can do it on mine, or like I said, we could do it together. Whatever. I mean, I kind of hit you with this out of nowhere, but um, I just feel like maybe if we did it as a community together, just supporting each other and put all of our intentions in the container together to support each other, that might make some magic happen for some people.
yeah.
So something to consider, maybe in the chat, if that resonates and you guys would enjoy that, like, let's do it.
Oh yeah, we've got definitely a lot of yeses. Kyla, Lynn, Lisa all saying yes. I mean, I'm sure Corbin's in as well. So yeah, I jotted that down. I feel like my initial thought was, ooh, that could be a fun and great way to like start out the new year, to do in January, set some intentions for a space or for an object or whatever you want to do. Set that intention for the new year and give yourself that support to get into it. Yeah, I love that. Oh, and thank you, Corbin, putting Beth's channel in the chat. Good call there.
Yeah, there's, you guys, might be a little disappointed when you go there.
Ah.
Have a lot of videos, but they're all just revolving, well, not that it's a bad thing, but they're all revolving around sending energy to the animals, because I was called very strongly, I think it was in the beginning of 2024. So it's been 2 years ago, because I believe I started the channel on January 11th because it was all about the 111 that year.
hmm
And I felt very strongly called to send energy to the animals. And then I had some things happen in my life, and then that just kind of dropped off. And I never really um, got back to recording videos about it. But maybe this is my time to pick up on the channel. So, and
Yeah.
I changed names also. I'm not sure. Uh, Actually, I was going to consult you, Jake, about that. But
Oh, we will consult, absolutely.
wonderful. But yeah, so maybe right now I'll share the four things that had kind of come to me at one point about any intention setting.
Mhm.
That was, do you want it? Do you believe it's possible? Do you give permission? And are you willing to give gratitude? So, do you believe it's possible? No, do you want it? Do you believe it's possible? Do you give permission? And are you willing to give gratitude? And when I started using that
Mhm.
format, it forced me to ask myself, is this something I really, really want? And then, do I believe it's possible? Because obviously, if we don't believe something's possible, or we're struggling with believing it's possible, there's no point in going any further, because you're going to block yourself. So this is just like a quick 4-step process, very simple, to check yourself about where you're at with the intention. And do you need to move the dial on any one of those 4 things before you move forward? So I wanted to share that because I think that's an easy way when you're going to do this type of work to just set a really clear framework around it. Maybe that's part of the teacher in me, the outline of how it goes. I don't know. But I need structure. I have a lot of earth in my chart. So I need that structure of something, that steps I can walk through. That's very helpful for me
Hmm.
to stay focused. So I
Oh,
wanted to.
that's so good because yeah, it's I think especially with energetics when we're dealing in the subtle realms, it can be very well whatever resonates for you, and that is true. I firmly believe that you have the answers inside of you, but especially when we're doing new things or we're um trying out our psychic abilities or our spiritual gifts in new ways, it helps to have a little bit of that guidance and structure, and then you can flow and ebb from there, right? You can break out of the mold as much or as little as you want, um, because it really is about what resonates for you and what works for you. And with all of these sorts of topics and ideas, right, we're sharing what our experience has been, what our understanding is, and uh, and yours might be different, and that's beautiful and wonderful and okay. Um, but it is about I love that you're helping to provide this foundation for folks to step into something. I mean, I've never done pendulum energetic clearing like that. That was a new experience for me, and it was easy. It was straightforward, and I could feel it. And so, yeah, it was wonderful.
Yeah, that's the farther I go this type of work, the simpler my practices get.
Hmm.
I used to think I had to do this lengthy thing and this multi-step whatever. And a lot of people teach that way. We don't have time for that right now. We really don't have time to go through some lengthy process. And especially at this time of the year when things are so busy, it has to be simple. People aren't going to do it if there's 99 steps. They're just not. I won't. And I'm pretty patient with stuff like that. And I'll sit through lots of, that to learn things. But I really believe it does come down to intention. It's
Hmm.
it's simple. You set the intention and then take an action. Take an action. It can be a very simple thing. And if you don't have any tools, then just sit, take a couple breaths. You always have your breath.
Hmm.
You can always breathe in the light, breathe out the intention. Breathe in the light, breathe out the intention. Sometimes that's all you have to work with in a moment. And so don't be frustrated. Don't feel like you can't do it. Just use what you have. Use what you
Hmm.
have.
And I'm being reminded that your body can be a pendulum as well. And so even if you're swaying, and let the swaying tell you when you're done, just let your body move intuitively, let the energies move you, um and you can certainly do that in the same way that you muscle test or you use your body to pendulum for something. I feel like that's a perfectly easy thing to do, and you don't have to spend any money. You can certainly do that.
I couldn't agree more. It's so true. And part of what we're learning is to be more in touch with our bodies anyway, to let our body,
Mhm.
that tuning fork, to let our bodies be the lightning rod and understand what the energy is that's coming through. And I find that sometimes we forget to ground. The energy comes in and we do all these things. So let me kind of sum up some of this with that. When you're done with this energy work, you want to ground. And that's different for everyone. That can be go outside and put your feet on the ground if it's climate appropriate right now, which I know Emma's having summer. If Emma's here or whenever Emma sees this, hi Emma, I know you're
It's
having
4
summer.
a.m. her time, so
Or
she's watching the replay.
she's not awake right now, but for Emma, it would be go out and put your feet on the grass right now. For me, it might be drive, take a drive and just look at the trees and speak to the trees, which I do. Um, it could be holding a rock. Like I have a heart-shaped rock from Sedona, and I will sometimes, if that's all I've got, I will just hold it in my hand or put it against my heart or even put it on my third eye, because sometimes that's where I need the grounding.
Mm-hmm.
Get to ground, and like any other energetic practice, drink lots of water, move your body, let that energy go, because you're in it too. So remember to dispel that energy for yourself. And if you don't have any other method, your breath again, or wash your hands. The simple act of intentionally washing your hands and imagining washing anything off that needed to go, is very powerful. And then, just after the fact, thank the energy, thank your tools, thank your pendulum, thank each other. If we do this together, thank your home, thank the living room. Um, just that act of gratitude is huge.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Which, if you would like some support in this through the quantum from the community, put it in the chat. Say, hey, I'm working on this space in my home and I'm setting this intention, and we will absolutely support you. I know that without a doubt. So if you're doing this either live with us and you want some support, put that in the chat, put that in the comments. Or if you're doing this at some other point when it works for you, same thing, come back, put it in the comments, and let us support you as well, because I know I would love to do that, and I'm sure there's others in the community that want to as well.
Absolutely. And I have space open in January if anybody's interested and wants to work one-on-one. If that feels better, reach out.
Hmm. Yeah, and it really is the perfect time, because I believe it was January last year when we first started to work together and work on stuff with Esmeralda. So um, it's a beautiful time. Well, I'm feeling the energies closing down or slowing down. Anything else that you want to share before we go, Beth? Anything else that feels important to communicate?
Just trust yourself. Trust yourself. Because I think that's the thing that's difficult when you try something new, is like, am I making this up? Oh, I think I got this download. I think it's asking me to put a plant in the corner over there. Like, just trust yourself. Trust yourself and trust what comes. And it may seem a little wacky, and you might think, what? I'm supposed to do what? You know, but just trust it.
Hmm.
Trust it. If you're not sure, grab somebody that you do trust and do it together. Whether it's me or it's Jake or whoever you need to reach out to, I'm certainly available. My whole goal is to help people set up these healthy energetic containers. Um, whether it's your chair that you work from, whether it's your bed, whether it's your property, whether it's you're trying to call in a new home and you want to, through the quantum, reach out to that energy of that new home that you want to bring in, whatever that is. Trust yourself that you are capable and that it will happen if you've set the intention.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Speaking of that, though, Corbin, tell us if you had any effects from your chair. We
Oh yeah,
could
did he?
ask.
I mean, I'm just looking back at the chat to see if he had put anything in there.
He might be making breakfast or something. Hard to tell.
While we give him a chance, I love what Lynn's saying. Yes, trust and imagination is good too, and that's really like one of my favorite uh, tips for clients is like there's not a lot of difference between imagination and your inner vision, your clairvoyance. These are working with the same sight, and so uh, in the same ways. And I was reminded too about the image that I got as we were clearing the pendulum before we started, of like the cartoony like skin melting off. It isn't always serious. It isn't always like uh some divine, serene, sacred thing. Like sometimes it's silly, sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's um you know clients will have this during sessions as well. I've had clients where their session comes through in cartoon, and it's just totally the best way for them to experience it, the best way for that information to flow to them, for them to be receptive to it. And your subconscious works with the images and the symbols that you're used to. It's working with those things that you are that you're familiar with. And so if if you're a movie buff and you love movies, you might receive downloads through movie references or through scenes or characters, or it could be music. You're really into music, like the music lyrics pop in, or you hear that music on the radio or in the store or something like that. So paying attention to what lights you up and where your passions lie can help you to pick up those intuitive messages as well, and to learn to trust yourself, because it is a practice. And all of us, every single one of us, Beth, me, we still have to practice trusting ourselves. There are still those moments where you doubt, or you question, or you're like, is that really true though? And of course, discernment is important, but it is also important to build up that trust in yourself.
Yep, I love.
Okay, we got Corbin's sharing. So he said, yes, the chair work has been a lot easier for me to detach from and to use my energy for what I want to manifest.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And he
That's
said, yeah, look how I got the resin crafts out in the last week. I worked on that project in my chair. And that really
really.
was a huge push, which I should pull that up. Before we go, guys, I want to show you guys, just one moment here.
And I can attest these resin crafts are absolutely magical.
Thank you. Of course, the usual stuff is on my website, information about my practice and all of that. If you go up here, though, to the Pisces portals, you will see we have a new section on our website for our intentional sacred space crafts, our art, our resin art. And so we have the floral skulls, we have the organite pyramids that we built, and then we have our crystal skulls as well. And so a few options to choose from on there. We are also working on production again, and we'll hopefully have some other stuff up in the future too. But lots to look at, lots to dig into, and it's really fun to be at this point of sharing it with folks, sharing this with the world, because it's been a journey for us that started out very fun and just a creative outlet, and has now turned into more of a passion and something that we've become good at, and that we really enjoy sharing with folks. And so go on over and check that out. And while you're there too, check out my bookings. If you are someone who is looking to build your trust in yourself, a session is a wonderful way to do this, because you'll have my support in connecting to your higher self, connecting to that inner wisdom, and that part of you that does know. And so it is a wonderful way to build up that trust with yourself. And I'd love to do that with you. And same thing, Beth is definitely available, like she said, time in January to assist you in big or small projects. You don't have to go and reorient your entire house. You can start with your work chair. You can start with your bed. You can start with your kitchen table, whatever it is. Yeah. So highly recommend Beth, because I've worked with her myself, and so appreciate the support and the energy and the love and the care that you put into your work.
I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for having me on the show, Jay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, and Lynn is still waiting on her skull. She bought one of our skulls, and it is still in transition to her in the mail. So it'll get there soon, though, hopefully. Thank you, Lynn. I really appreciate you saying that. All right. Yes. Thank you, Beth, for coming today. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and your wisdom with us. I hope this has been helpful for you guys, and wishing you all a happy holidays and a wonderful end to 2025. And yeah, I hope you find some calm and some love and some beautiful supportive energy in this season.
Absolutely. Bye, everyone.
Bye, y'all.